a little bit before 5 in the morning, 4:40, and I'm gonna try to install the bow fender. Get to use the deck lights. Chanel de Fort has a closure, we'll call it around 10:30 in the morning. So I want to get there and not have to fight a foul current. No breakfast this morning. We'll do that after underway. Not sure how good the low light of this camera is. We got the chart plotters in night mode. And we got me, I don't know if you can see it at all. It's turning 5 o'clock, and there's a bit of light. I guess I'll throw up the chute. We're in a rush to get to the Chanel de Fort.
I went forward to secure the anchor, and what did I notice? It had a kelp hat.
I'm awake now. Maybe you still need a little bedheader dressing. And it looks like if we keep up this nice pace, we can make it through the Chanel de Fort with a bit of push behind us, which would be great. And then we go into Aberwak, which is basically a river. And I'll have to do my first ever picking up a mooring ball solo. See how that works.
Today's trip will take us past Brest, through the Chanel de Fort, past Usson, and arrive at the estuary Aberwak. By the end of the trip, we will have conquered the northern portion of France and have entered the English Channel.
This buoy is a yellow and black combination known as a cardinal mark, and they're all over Europe. This one has 2 triangles pointing down, which means stay south of me.
Passing Point de Saint-Mathieu, or St. Matthew's Point.
About to start the Chanel de Fort.
I'm going 6.4 knots through the water, and I have 3 knots of hello current. How cool is that? 9 knots of breeze right now, and it is from behind-ish.
I feel guilty going by people when I don't have the sails fully up and the engine off. Okay, so now the current just hit 3.6 knots of advantage. Boy, I am so happy I woke up at 5-ish. Oh, that's such a cute little town just tucked in here in the beginning of the Chanel de Fort, with of course its own lighthouse. So the boat with the keel up draws 1.3 meters. And so if you're looking for a place to anchor, you might say, oh, this looks great, it's 3.4 meters. Except there's a little bar underneath the 3, which means that low water is not 3.4 meters deep, it's 3.4 meters out of the water. Now, obviously the green background might be a good clue, but in some spots you can anchor and think, oh wow, there's just lots of water here. And about 4 hours later, when the bay empties, you'll find yourself high and dry. I mean, look at this thing, Petit Fourche, 7.2 meters out of the water. A little radar test. There is a small rib out there fishing. My question was, does it show up on radar? And it does. That little red dot, which my finger's pointing at, is the dinghy. Amazing, high quality radar. There is an AIS target, and there'll be an error there, and the reason is, right now it's dead on, but at times the AIS will be behind. That's just because Class B AIS updates slowly. Those rocks could really ruin your day. The maze of rocks. This thing's about 50 yards away. This channel marker is called Little Pot of Butter. Petit pot de beurre. Who named that? Maybe the guy who had his keel removed. Free naming rights if you hit it something. Oh man, this is driving me bananas. That's the vessel, oh, it's a DSC message and some guy's trying to send me one. So this channel marker's name is Bas de la Croix, the lows or banks of the cross. And another place you consider going to church to avoid hitting. Huge procession of boats leaving Aber while I'm coming in. Had to kind of avoid a few.
Aber is actually a Breton word meaning estuary, and dotted up the French coast in this area are a variety of different Abers. I'm going into Aberwak. I've taken out my iPhone not to text Gail, but to look at the map of Aberwak. Situational awareness is super important, so I go slowly and I double and then triple check that I understand where I am and where the mooring balls will be. I noticed a boat with a British ensign, so I asked to double check where the buoys are.
I assume these are the visitors' buoys, right? Thank you so much.
Now, in the mooring field, I'm scoping for an open mooring. I'm also trying to figure out my approach. I'm getting blown up the river, and so to attach to the ball, I want a reverse direction. I'm going fast enough, so I put the boat into neutral. There's my open ball passing on the right-hand side of the screen. Conveniently, this is a very wide open mooring field, so I give myself plenty of space to back up to the ball. Now it's time for reverse. As I reverse towards the ball, I'm experimenting with what power is required to keep the boat moving, but also have the minimum speed. I'm turning on the thruster to aid in pulling up to the mooring ball. I'm hoping I won't need it. After turning on the thruster, I wait about 5 seconds for the thruster to descend. Then I give it a quick test. The wind is blowing in the mid-teens and the current is flooding, so I add a few more revs in order to make progress to the mooring ball. In reverse, Cyclops' rudders can be a little bit of a challenge to control. My technique now is to use my thigh as a brace and adjust the boat with a hip move. Now it's time to prep the dock line. I'm going to attach just the stern cleat on the starboard side. I'm going to have the boat cozied right up to the mooring ball, and then conveniently I can walk off the open stern to attach the line to the ball. It appears I think I'm slightly off in my approach, and I engage the thruster. Bad thing. I end up spinning the boat more than necessary. Please, don't use the thruster, Jason. You can see immediately after engaging the thruster, I'm using my knee to send the boat back the opposite direction. Well, after my thruster games are over, it turns out I'm on a good approach, going slowly right at the ball. If you see my hip swing, it's not because I want to be Elvis Presley. That is using my thigh to steer the boat. The slow approach can take a lot of mistakes off the table. For example, one dumb thing I could do is come in very quickly and have some of the mooring ball gear get wrapped around my propeller. One last little steer before negating the mooring ball. I'm pulling the tillers to the port side, causing the boat in reverse to go the opposite direction. One last little blast of reverse gear gets the boat cozied right up to the ball, meaning it's very easy to loop the line through the ring. Initially, I led the dock line inside the push pit. That's not good. If it loads up, it could damage the boat. But I quickly realized the mistake, rerouted it. Now we're cleated and the boat is safe. Yes, I'll rotate the boat around for the right direction, but the boat is safe. Okay, great job, Jason. You've tied up the boat to the mooring ball, but you're attached on the wrong end. So now we're going to do a big rotation process, which means I take a dock line from the bow and reach the mooring ball, until I discover the dock line's too short and I have to use another line, my warping line. So back to the bow locker, get the warping line out, and now I arrive with my new long warping line, which I will lead through the ball.
Oui, bonjour, Tacoma ici, un voilier de 39 pieds avec une place, s'il vous plaît, pour passer une nuit. J'ai pas reçu, merci. La place à l'intérieur et à l'extérieur.
While I'm playing rope tricks, somebody's reserving a slip at the nearby marina. The warping line starts at the bow, goes through the mooring ball, and then back to my midship cleat. Midship cleat because the line is not long enough to go all the way back to the bow. Then I release the line I initially attached to the mooring ball and quickly head to the midship cleat to take out the slack. Notice the boat naturally begins rotating, trying to get the bow head to wind. It's also aided by me pulling on the mooring line. The mooring ball is no longer by the stern and is closer to the midship cleat. This gives me plenty of slack to tie the warping line up to the bow. And now we're almost head to wind. Success! I am now head to wind, bow tied to the ball. But I'm going to go for one better and attach two proper dock lines and remove my warping line. The deck of the boat is about a meter off the water. I could bend on my belly and try to get to the ball to loop the dock line, but instead I'm using the miracle technology known as the hook and moor. Watch and learn as the hook and moor makes this process super simple. Port dock line to the ball is now attached. Oh, now it's done. Another chance for the hook and moor to dazzle me with its amazing technology as I attach the starboard dock line. It's near impossible to explain how the hook and moor works, but there are two modes. One mode is pull the line through the ring, and the other one is push the line through the ring. I'm using the pull the line through the ring technique. Maybe this slow motion video will help you understand how the hook and moor pulls it through the ring. But if you want to ask the short review, I really like it. It takes only 20 minutes of training to be used to it. There are many hook and moors residing deep in the back of lazarettes on boats where it has never been used. It's a great idea just to practice, and you'll realize how useful a tool it is. I find disengaging the dock line from the hook and moor to be cumbersome, but I think if I practice a few more times I'll get a technique. Well, the final step of cleanup is here. Release the warping line from the starboard cleat, then reinstall the proper dock line going to the mooring ball, and then the best part, make lunch. I realize my technique is cumbersome, slow, but what I like about it is it's super safe. I've got a wonderful setup if the wind kicks up, and when I arrive, there's only one line to attach in a very easy location. How do you grab a mooring ball when you're sailing solo? What a picturesque place to spend a day.